All right, welcome to this explainer. We're jumping straight into something that has absolutely flipped our relationship with technology upside down. For the longest time, the rule was simple. If you wanted serious, heavy-hitting AI, you had to look to the cloud. You needed to hook up to these massive, warehouse-sized data centers. But in 2026, that whole assumption just completely broke down. The intelligence actually shifted. It moved from those distant servers right into the device sitting in your pocket right now. Today, we're going to unpack exactly how this hybrid future of on-device AI agents became our reality, why it happens so incredibly fast, and what it actually means for how you interact with your devices.
Think about how we spent the early years of the AI boom. We were literally conditioned to wait, right? You'd ask your assistant for something, your phone would package up that request, beam it across the internet to some server farm, wait for it to process, and then beam a response back. And hey, it felt like magic at first, but it relied on this underlying assumption that simply couldn't scale. By 2026, genuinely capable AI agents started running entirely locally. And I mean entirely. No Wi-Fi, no cell service. Your phone and laptop suddenly had the raw muscle to handle complex tasks completely on their own.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the end of pure cloud, why data centers aren't enough. So why didn't we just keep building bigger and bigger data centers? Well, it came down to a really harsh reality. Impossible scale. Just look at this number, 2 billion. That's roughly the number of active devices just in Apple's iOS ecosystem alone. As one tech commentator pointed out, it's a staggering hypothetical. If a company the size of Apple tried to push cloud-based agentic AI features to that entire user base, even just for basic stuff, the compute demand would be absolutely astronomical. They would literally need the continuous computing power of an entire major AI lab just to keep the lights on for everyday tasks. Pure cloud for every user, for every action, it's practically impossible. The math just doesn't work.
Which brings us to Section 2, the memory bandwidth breakthrough.
Since pure cloud hit this massive economic wall, engineers basically had to figure out how to shrink these giant digital brains to fit into our pockets. And the biggest hurdle? It was memory bandwidth. For the longest time, people kind of assumed the bottleneck for phone AI was raw processor speed. Actually, scratch that. It wasn't the processor at all. The real limit was memory bandwidth. See, an AI model generates text token by token, and to spit out just one single new token, the chip has to stream all the model's stored weights into active memory. It's all about data streaming speed, not just crunching numbers. Once engineers realized memory bandwidth was the real boss level here, they stopped just trying to make models smarter and started making them insanely efficient at moving data.
And this wasn't just some fringe experiment. Check out this quote from a 2025 paper by NVIDIA researchers. They flat out said, "Small language models are the future of agentic AI." The writing was totally on the wall. The smartest minds in the industry saw this exact shift coming. They knew that leaning completely on massive cloud models was a dead end for quick daily tasks. And sure enough, by 2026, the supply of these ultra-efficient, highly capable small models had completely caught up to this idea.
The results were honestly spectacular. Just look at these 2026 breakthroughs. First up, Microsoft's 5.4 Mini. It packed 3.8 billion parameters into just 3 gigabytes of memory, but it was matching the performance of models twice its size. Crazy, right? Then you've got Google's Gemma line. They went all in on quantization, which is basically a trick to store the model's weights at a lower numerical precision. The payoff? A model that loads in under a single gigabyte of memory, but keeps the quality sky high. And then Alibaba's Qwen 3 models. Even the tiny ones, the sub-1 billion parameter models, brought something absolutely crucial to the table. Strong tool calling, meaning these tiny models could actually trigger external functions reliably, which is exactly what you need if you want an AI agent to actually do things for you on your device.
All right, moving right along to Section 3, on-device AI superpowers. So we've got these incredibly efficient little models sitting on our phones. What do they actually do for you? Well, on-device AI is absolutely brilliant at narrow, repetitive tasks. We're talking about things like parsing a quick piece of text, calling a single tool like setting your alarm, formatting messy data into clean results, classifying inputs, or just summarizing a short email. And here's why this is a massive deal. These specific little steps make up the vast majority of a typical AI agent's loop. Most of the time, you don't need your phone to ponder the meaning of the universe. You need it to do this rapid-fire, repetitive grunt work. And these on-device models absolutely crush it.
Let's put them head-to-head real quick. Cloud AI versus local AI. When you run those repetitive tasks in the cloud, you hit friction. You get network delays as data bounces back and forth. If you're building apps, you rack up per-call API bills. And yeah, there are the obvious privacy risks of sending personal data to a third-party server. But look at local AI. Running these directly on your device gives you zero network latency. I mean, it is instant. It's totally free to run, no API bills, and most importantly, you get absolute, uncompromising data privacy.
I really want to hammer this point home because it's a total game changer. Complete data privacy. Zero internet required. Your information literally never leaves your device. Think about how huge that is for sensitive workflows. If you're in healthcare or law or really anything where sending data to a server is a massive red flag, local AI solves that overnight. Plus, imagine you're on a long flight with no Wi-Fi or you're out camping. Your AI doesn't just throw its hands up and quit. It keeps working perfectly because the intelligence is baked right into the hardware itself.
But it's not all perfect, which leads us to Section 4, the hardware reality check. So if local AI is so magical, why haven't we just unplugged the data centers entirely? Well, physics. We have a hard physical ceiling on our devices. Let's say you have a really capable 7 billion parameter model. That needs about 5 gigabytes of memory just to load into active use. Now, most modern phones have, 8 to 12 gigabytes of total memory? But a huge chunk of that is already spoken for by your operating system, your camera app, your browser. They all need memory to run. You simply cannot squeeze a 5 gigabyte AI model into a phone that only has maybe 2 or 3 free gigabytes to spare. That physical bottleneck is exactly why phones are mostly capped at those 3 billion parameter models, while your laptop, which has way more RAM, can handle the heavier stuff.
And because of those hardware limits, let's be real, local AI does still lag behind in a few spots. First off, deep multi-step reasoning. If you've got a genuinely difficult problem, you still need those massive frontier cloud models. On-device models just don't have the capacity to hold super complex, twisting chains of logic in their head all at once. Second is very long context. If you wanted to read a 100-page document or remember months of chat history, local models struggle because they have to share that limited memory with the context cache. And lastly, the bleeding-edge research always hits the cloud first. So on-device models usually trail the absolute frontier of AI by about 3 to 6 months.
So how do we fix this? Enter Section 5, the hybrid AI architecture.
How do we get the ironclad privacy of a local model, but keep the heavy lifting power of the cloud? Well, developers came up with this really elegant two-step decision framework. Step 1, default to the device. For routine, narrow, or highly private stuff, the local model handles it instantly. Your data stays put. But step 2, if you ask for something super complex, like deep reasoning or massive document analysis, the system goes, whoa, I can't handle this, and dynamically routes just that specific request up to the cloud. You get speed and privacy for 90% of your day, and the raw power of the cloud exactly when you need it.
A perfect example of this in action is Apple's private cloud compute. They knew that kicking tasks to the cloud creates a privacy gap, right? So they engineered a system where even when a complex task is handed off to Apple's own servers, Apple mathematically cannot access your underlying data. They even let independent security researchers continuously audit it. It just goes to show that even when we have to fall back on the cloud, the industry is working incredibly hard to make those cloud interactions mirror the privacy standards of local processing.
And the entire tech industry is betting big on this. Check this out. 60%. Industry analysts project that by 2027, more than 60% of all new PCs shipped globally will be explicitly built and optimized to run these local AI models. We're way past the point of on-device agents being some watered-down compromise. They are becoming the fast, private, always-on foundation of modern computing.
The gap between what the phone in your pocket can do and what a massive data center can do is shrinking every single year. Yes, the cloud will always be there for the really heavy lifting, but the vast majority of your digital life is coming home to your device. So it leaves us with this incredible question to ponder. As the gap between local and cloud AI continues to shrink, are we finally entering an era where our devices keep our smartest secrets completely to themselves? Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next one.